fuck? Well, I'm pleased as punch to be back, and it's the holiday season. And guess who has a holiday sale coming up? Adele, of course. Thru's running all over the place. He's home for a day. He's gracing us with his presence, his damaged presence. Hopefully it's just in those ear canals. Hopefully it's not permanent. Feeling good, aren't you, Lou?
Sort of.
Ooh, is that the Jingle Bells?
Sale, hearing damage. It's all here for you today, right now. Raw Impressions 101. Raw 101 sounds like a class. It's not. Raw Impressions 101.
Raw 101.
Just another free-form episode with Thru and Adele. Take it away, you two. I'm the man in the cat. All right, man.
Hello.
Hi.
Just stopping by. On my way to LA.
Just breezing through. You're so busy.
Nice place you got here.
Yeah, you like it?
I do. Adele.
Oh, hi, Lou.
Hi.
Oh my gosh, you are not home for long enough. It's just not long enough for me. One day, guys. He's home for one day.
It's never long enough.
It's such a tease. Such a tease. Home and then back out again before I wake up in the morning or right as I'm waking up tomorrow morning.
You know, I'm never on tour and like, wow, I'm really glad that I'm getting this time away. I don't feel that way.
Yeah.
I can't say that that's always been the case in my life. I used to like, I'd go on tour. I'm like, well, this is cool. I get a little break, get a little alone time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel that way. With you in our life. Oh God, what the hell was that? That was the truth. That was the frog of truth. Did you hear that? Everybody? With my little truth frog.
Your throat just did a little.
Oh man, there's a lot going on in my body.
There's a lot happening, everyone. So yeah, he's just breezing on through for a brief stay, and of course, look at the dedication, guys. We were right back in the Raw 101 studio. We missed you all so much. I missed doing the pod last week. It was just not possible. It was just not possible.
It was not possible. I was on tour. I was on tour with the Folk Implosion.
Yeah. It was not the kind of tour where he had like a lot of sitting around time.
And then I also shared a room with John Davis for about half of it.
Yeah.
And then when I got my own room,
yeah,
I realized I didn't have the right adapter.
I know.
For my microphone.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've made it clear in this podcast, but adapters drive me fucking crazy. The right adapter. Mm-hmm.
That's your thing.
Oh my God, it makes me so nuts.
Is that your one thing?
Oh, it's not my one thing. Oh, it ain't my one thing. But it is December.
It's a thing. Yay. Ching, 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 ching.
So while I'm going to Los Angeles, you are...
I am kind of like wishing I had like octopus arms this week because there's so much I'm doing. Next weekend is, I guess, my second annual official holiday pop-up sale at our house. I do it 2 days on the weekend, and I set up the first floor of our home kind of like a mini craft fair with different stations and booths, and we open up our home for 2 days where other artist friends of mine come together and we sell our goods, like very small business style. And folks come. It's very festive. I whip out the 5-disc CD changer and I put in our CDs, our Christmas and holiday music. I put them on shuffle.
Don't forget the Phil Spector album, the Phil Spector Christmas LP.
Yeah.
The greatest Christmas record
that
of all
really
time,
is.
in my opinion.
I know that one is. Well, I'm going to have to do that amongst all the other things. Look for all my holiday and Christmas CDs, and then clean the house, finish preparing all of my knitwear for sale, figuring out how I'm setting everything up, making sure there's stations that are available for the people I'm sharing the space with, which is my friend Alexis is going to have her beautiful pottery. One of Izzy's teachers, Sarah, is actually going to be here selling her homemade sourdough bread.
I'm pretty psyched about the baked goods aspect
having
of this.
freshly baked bread.
That's a first on this.
That's a first this time.
Annual.
I believe our friend Liz is working on making hand poured beeswax candles. She's doing that. And Kaya, Alendi, Anna, they're all going to have like quilting, embroidery. Alendi's going to have her hand-drawn calendars. Anyway, it's going to be a whole to-do.
Hand-drawn calendar?
Yeah, she did a beautiful
That's a good
calendar.
idea.
Yeah.
I might poach that idea.
Yeah, actually that is a good idea.
It is.
Thank you, Alendi.
I can make a calendar with like important dates in my musical history.
Oh my God, that would be so cute. You could even have the release date on each calendar of when each album has come out. Like
In 4
Oh my
connecting
goodness.
to anus blasts, Thru will detail the disturbing new development in his left ear.
It's a tenactin to anus.
Here come the tenactin to anus blasts.
This is from episode 63. Remember when I...
was this actually in the episode?
It was. One of our faithful listeners mentioned this to me, or to us on our Substack.
Yeah.
It's actually sizzling on my actual asshole.
Oh my God, that's truly your butt?
Yeah.
Wow. Raw 101.
So I've got this thing going on with my ear.
Not your ass right now.
No, my ass is great.
Great.
My ass has been really good for a long time.
That's wonderful, dear. Okay.
Okay. This is a recording that I made. I came home from came back to my hotel room after a Folk Implosion show, and I noticed that I was hearing a tone in my left ear when I was whistling to myself. And I made this recording. And you hear one note, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I hear two.
Is it the same one, just echoed, or is it like a different?
No, it's like at a slightly different pitch.
Huh.
But I found out because I recorded myself and then I played it back and I'm like, oh my God. It's only one note.
That's eerie.
It was really eerie. And this is approximately what it sounded like to me. In my ear. I have to take a deep breath. This is making me anxious. So I heard this ghost note there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm hearing in my...
So it's kind of like a floating additional...
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing in my left ear.
We are very concerned about your ear. Truth be told.
Yeah, it might be from flying while congested. Or it's permanent hearing damage. Or a tumor, of course.
Or both. And
this is the sound that's also in my left ear. This is what it started with in South America. It started with this hum in my left ear. This is approximately the note that I hear in my left ear. Mm-hmm. That's the bass. So this is really what I hear in my left ear. Mm-hmm. When I whistle to myself, these particular notes, actually, it's not all notes, thankfully. It's not like a...
Is it still going?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still going in my head. So that's what's going on in my left ear, everybody. Yay!
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I wanted to demonstrate that. Is that okay?
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm really anxious about it. And I'm only home for a day, so I can't really get it checked out. I went to an ER in England.
Yeah.
And I sat there for about 3 hours. It was in between Leeds and Manchester. I went to an ER in the middle of the night. And they said I didn't have an infection, which was good. Mm-hmm. Although I would have preferred to have an infection and then be prescribed something that would have made it go away by now.
Yeah, right.
So I had to do the inevitable, especially when the note started coming in, the extra note that I was hearing. And then I noticed while I was listening to music that I was hearing, we had this wonderful, this person open for us in Bristol under the name TLK, and they were amazing. And I was hearing these wild decays with the piano notes, and I thought, wow, this is really psychedelic. And I even mentioned to them afterwards, like, I love the way your piano was wavering and decaying, not understanding that I was only hearing that. That I was hearing these sort of ghosts. I just thought it sounded incredible. And when we were
Tinactin to anus blasts. Lou plays an example of what music sounds like in his left ear.
And then Jojo, our driver, tour manager, was playing the Cocteau Twins. And this is what it sounds like, or sounded like in my left ear. And I thought I was going to have an anxiety attack. Just this strange, broken sound. So, yeah, but it was even this song. It was really, I'm really hoping that it's just like, pressure on my ear canal from flying while congested. It seems likely because it developed when I was in South America.
Okay.
I've had a pretty interesting and intense few weeks of travel. Yes. Because in South America, we flew every day, more or less, every other day. And it was a long flight to get down there. And I was really congested.
Yeah, you were under the weather.
I was under the weather the whole time. But I did do a lot of just lying down and sleeping, and then I would have a lot of energy for the shows. I was I think I've really figured out a really good way to be really, a lot of times, like, it would be very difficult to fly somewhere and then negotiate jet lag, and then also lack of sleep, because I don't sleep that well on planes, and I didn't sleep very much in South America, but I did sleep. I took alprazolam to sleep, and that was okay. I thought I was going to be okay, but then the sound developed. So
I think I'm concerned about the sound, and I'm also concerned about the anxiousness it gives you, and I was reading about people who have, what's that?
That's a car outside.
Oh. I was like, did you hear that? There was another sound. I didn't know that? I didn't know if you had like an airplane or something set up again.
I've created
there's a soundscape. I don't know when things are coming in now.
I've created this very anxious bed for this episode.
I know.
I'm sorry. We gotta.
And I think that
breathe.
You are displaying a lot of anxiety about it, which is totally understandable. I just want to say though that you're not alone in it. Like when you are experiencing it, I obviously am not experiencing what you're experiencing, but I'm experiencing my own version of it as your loved one, because I'm not just like, oh, that sucks for you and carry on. When your body and your face and your mannerisms kind of contort into the anxious state, I feel it physically. And it's very stressful. And then so I'm worried. I want you to be okay. And anyway, what I was reading about this, people who have like ear situations, tinnitus or Meniere's, or
what I have
what you
could be diplacusis.
Right.
It really fits. I looked online, which is always it's sketchy when you feel, when you do your own diagnosis.
Kind of. Although I feel like half the time when I go to the doctor now, they're like, well, you can read about this online. I'm like,
yeah.
Okay.
But what I have really matches diplacusis.
Yeah.
And then it's like,
could you describe what that is really quickly?
Well, it's hearing two notes in an ear, like one of your ears. And I read this fascinating little blog that classical musicians discussing it, and they can actually pinpoint exactly where the notes, what note off it is, what step, they can identify the second note that they're hearing, the sort of ghost note, which was pretty fascinating. But the one account that I did read, it resolved itself. But I think the thing that scares me the most is that it might affect my singing. Like it could make me sing flat or sharp. And that actually causes that kind of causes the anxiety, because I feel like, oh, this is what will ruin me. This is what will ruin my ability to sing. This is what will ruin my ability to play. I can make it through most of a day with this condition, where I can kind of like go, I can talk myself through it. Like this is temporary. It may last for a while, but I've had really intense, strange tinnitus in my right ear that I had for a very long time that seemed to be seasonal, and it ended up going away. And this one, I'm thinking, but the problem with this one is it's really loud. The humming is extremely loud. There's no physical component to this. There's no dizziness.
Thank goodness. Okay, that's good.
Because it's not an infection. And that's one thing I wanted to rule out.
And I also read that Meniere's also has dizziness. I think that kind of seems to have similarities to vertigo, perhaps.
And then you mentioned that your parents had sort of understood what this had the same.
My dad, I described it to him like what you've been telling me, and he was like, oh, that's like exactly what your mom and I have had for years, the last 10 years or so before we got hearing aids. It was becoming so loud in their ears.
And when I hear hearing aid, that actually makes me panic too. I'm like, I don't want the hearing. I don't want to be the first member of Dinosaur Jr. with a hearing aid.
Okay, so could I finish my thought, which was going all the way back to what I was saying, is that what I was reading about all these different things, one of the main worries or things that they want people to work on is the stress and depression or anxiety that comes with these different diagnoses, because they can actually lead people to some pretty severe depressions, I guess. And so that was my worry. And it was saying that they recommend meditation, as a part of the diagnosis treatment, because there does have to be some level of also acceptance, perhaps, of trying to find a way to live with these things or to find moments of.
I've been doing that. I've gotten really good at calming myself down. Yeah. With breathing, sure I've talked about it.
But I have been worried about your anxiety level, though. I think this has been very stressful. So.
I mean, it's the thing when you have something like this, I don't want to when I was younger, when I did feel anxiety, I wanted to sort of like share it, you know what I mean? Or just really talk about it and share it and almost bring someone else into my world of anxiety. But I don't want to do that with you, you know, and it's actually strengthened me quite a bit. Like our relationship, I've really dropped that trait, because I would call it a trait in the past, you know, when I was younger and in my 20s and 30s and 40s, where I would really radiate that anxiety, and I would say something like, "This is it, it's over," you know, just, you know, pertaining to almost anything really that was causing me anxiety, and really speak with these DEFCON 5, you know, end of the world. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I don't do as much with you.
Disaster thinking. Yeah.
Disaster thinking. Mm-hmm. I don't want to share my disaster. You know, I don't want to go there because it generally doesn't happen. You know, what the reality is always, you know, so much, it's not that. It's not your disaster. Mm-hmm. You know, and you know, over the last, for the time that we've been together, 12 years, I've just really ramped that down. And yesterday I had that kind of unfortunate moment where I was like, this is it, you know, this is going to ruin.
You were texting me some pretty extreme stuff, and I
felt so bad. I was like, I don't want to do that, because I mean, I don't think, you know, it's not the end of the world.
Right.
And if I do have to get a hearing aid, I'll get a hearing aid. Although I can say that I'm not losing, I can hear in my left ear, but what's really, and then I think if it is permanent, I will, as a human animal, adjust to it. You know, as animals adjust to things that seem intolerable at first, you know, like a cat losing its leg, I think, you know, things that we adjust, you know, so I'll adjust.
Right.
You know, and I'm not a depressive person, you know, regardless of what anyone thinks based on my songs.
True. You're really not.
I'm not.
It's true.
I'm a little fucking ray of sunshine when I wake up. But I can be, you know, I can be really positive.
You're not a depressed person. That's not what I would characterize you as. And, you know, I think that I'm
here to help depressed people. I'm here to help you.
You're introspective. And I think that's where a lot of your songwriting comes from, is you're very introspective. And so you are always like thinking deeply about things. And, you know, but yeah, people have confused that, I think, with thinking that maybe you're very sad or you write sad songs or you're depressed, but you're really not, actually. You're pretty light. I mean, you have anxiety, which is different than depression, I feel like. And it comes and goes, you know?
And I have done a lot. I did a lot of meditation on this trip with the Folk Implosion in order to calm myself down.
Yeah.
While experiencing this condition.
Yeah.
And so I did do that, but there would always be like some time in the day where it was just too much. It was like listening to the Cocteau Twins and hearing that sound. You know, and I was just freaked out by it.
I know.
And then, you know, thinking about like maybe I sang off key in all the Folk Implosion shows, which is like, and I watched a little bit of a live clip that JoJo, our tour manager, had made, and I sounded okay, but I did sing a couple of things off, and I'm like, I don't remember singing those off. Although I did drink a beer during the course of that performance, which I don't like to drink during performances anymore because of moments like that. I don't really, because that betrays any kind of chemical that you might have had, like a performance. If you don't, I mean, even the smallest amount of alcohol or marijuana or whatever can throw off my pitch or my concentration, because the concentration will waver. Yeah. And if it wavers even slightly, then I will lose that pitch. If my mind takes over, my sort of slightly altered mind takes over, I'll lose a note here and there, and I don't like to do that. You know, I don't like to do that.
Well, we're going to be working on getting Lou seen, everyone. So now that we've just talked your ears off about Lou's ear, rest assured, we're not just sitting around twiddling our thumbs and going like, I just don't know. Don't worry. We are, we're doing all the things to get him.
It's really cool because your voice, I was a little worried. I was afraid that when I got home that voices might trigger it. And actually children's voices trigger it a bit. Trigger the dual note that happens. Your voice does not. And I've got you in both ears right now, nice and loud. And the cans, these are it's musician speak, studio speak for the headphones.
Cans, yeah.
So I'm not hearing that. And it sounds warm and it sounds reassuring. And I felt really good about that yesterday when you picked me up at the airport. And it really calmed me down. Because that was rough. I had 3 flights yesterday. I flew from London. It was so crazy. I got to the airport at like 1 a.m. Waited for my first flight to Amsterdam at...
Yeah, you were driven to the airport right after your last show. So no sleep, no hotel, just right. Yeah. Right
to Heathrow. And then Amsterdam, Atlanta, where they misplaced my base.
We're still waiting for it to show up here in Greenfield.
I said to the guy, the Delta guy in Atlanta, I'm like, I gave him the baggage claim things. He's like, oh, yeah, that's not here. And I said, oh, so it's lost? And I didn't, I was like, I am taking when I'm at the airport now, I wasn't like, it's lost. I mean, I was like, oh, it's lost. I'm just going to say that was my tone. And then he said, it's not lost, it's missing.
Let's hear one more.
I thought that was...
Isn't that kind of the same thing? Missing person, lost person. Anus. Why do you keep saying anus?
Just the outside. Listen. Play it.
Oh my God. You're subjecting the listeners to the sizzle
People should go back and listen to your old episodes.
of tinactin on your butthole.
All of them. Binge it.
That's right. Binge
Binge it.
seasons 1 and 2, guys.
My journey with these 2 knuckleheads. Okay, time to go. I'm 4-track man. See ya. Raw impressions.